Hi, welcome to a new video. If you're new here, my name is Red. I'm a painter and tattooer in upstate South Carolina. And if you're not new here, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here hanging out. So today I thought it would be fun to do a little behind the scenes video of drawing a tattoo. I've been drawing for like my whole life, but I've been tattooing for 9 years professionally. I've tattooed in multiple states and multiple countries, and it's a really cool part of my job. I don't tattoo a whole lot these days because I'm been more focused on painting. So this is a real treat that we're watching. I made this tattoo a few months ago, and this subject that I'm drawing, I've drawn these flowers so many times, probably hundreds of flowers, tattooed hundreds of these flowers over the years. So at this point in drawing this flower, I don't really need to do the big shapes for the design. As you can see, I just did one circle and then I've just kind of gone for it. And that's just because I've drawn these flowers so many times that it's sort of, the shapes are intuitive to me at this point. It's very much muscle memory. I just know how to draw these flowers, which is really cool. I remember when I first started tattooing, I would get so discouraged and frustrated, and I'd just be like, why does it take me forever to draw, and why do I struggle so much to get the shapes that I want? And I just felt like I was never going to be able to draw something efficiently. It felt like it was just always going to be that way. It was always going to take me forever, and it was always going to be really arduous. That's the word, is arduous. But it's been really cool to see over the years how slowly but surely that just sort of fades. So I don't know, if you're struggling, just know that phenomenon doesn't last forever. The more you draw something, the more comfortable you are with those shapes, and the more natural and intuitive that act is going to become. And so you'll get there. All that to say, don't worry, you'll get there. Another thing that you can see I like to do is I put the general shape of where I'm tattooing, like the body part that I'm tattooing, I put that in the background. That's sort of the oval shape that's behind everything. And I don't always do this. Sometimes I prefer to use a photo of the person that I'm tattooing, especially if they have other tattoos in the area and I need to fit this tattoo that we're making, fit it into a space around other tattoos. But this particular client didn't have any other tattoos in the area, and it was kind of a full range sort of thing. Like I could do, just do a big flower on this general area that she had available, and so I had a little bit more wiggle room with that, with the space. And when I have that sort of scenario, I just draw the general shape of that type of body part. And this doesn't always work. Sometimes, bodies are all different, and so they're all different shapes. And so sometimes I need to see a picture, even if I'm not going to use that picture, sometimes I need to see a picture of the person so that I can get a general shape from a picture of that person. But this particular body part was not a big deal. And another thing with tattooing for 9 years is I knew that if there was anything that I needed to change with the tattoo on the day that we were doing the tattoo, I knew that I could draw it on the person there. So I could use this stencil, this drawing, which is going to turn into a stencil. I knew that I could use this drawing and this stencil as a guideline, and then I could draw my own stuff if I needed to, or delete stuff, so to speak, kind of wipe off the stencil. So you also get more comfortable with that the longer that you tattoo. So that's really cool. Let's see, what else do I want to talk about? So as you can see, I'm doing a peony, drawing a peony. I love peony flowers. I love looking at them in real life. I love to try to grow them. I'll be honest, I started growing them 2 years ago, and I still haven't had a whole lot of luck. And so it takes a little while for peonies to grow. But I just love peonies. They're just great. They're fantastic flowers. They're really cool plants. So maybe my peonies will grow big and strong and they'll produce really beautiful flowers one day. Maybe this year. I don't know. We'll see. But I also really love drawing them. I tend to go for a more Japanese, like traditional Japanese sort of style with them. My mark making is kind of veers in that direction. And another thing that I would say with my drawing, my tattoo drawing, is that I like to do just sort of a really loose general sketch first, like I'm doing now, and then that leaves me a lot of creative room when I go in to do the final drawing with like a black pen sort of brush. I've been using Procreate and an iPad Pro for quite a few years now, and actually I've had the same iPad the whole time. I've never upgraded and gotten a different iPad. I'll probably need to do that in the next couple of years. This one's definitely getting a little bit, she's having a hard time. She's worked really hard over the last few years and she's tired. I understand. So I love using the iPad. If you're new to tattooing or new to drawing, I would not caution against it. I would just put a general blanket caution on using an iPad because it really speeds up the process and it allows for a lot of flexibility. But I found that a lot of flexibility isn't necessarily a good thing when you're first starting out. I think there's something to be said for drawing on paper, or when I was starting to tattoo, when I first started tattooing, I used tracing paper and a red Ticonderoga a red Ticonderoga pencil. And you can just find them at like Staples or Office Depot or something like that. You can probably find them at Target too, but they're fantastic pencils. It's a red pencil that a lot of teachers use for marking papers. I learned a long time ago about that. I thought it was really interesting. And they just feel really nice. It gives you a good texture. You can bear down really hard and get a nice dark red line, or you can be lighter with it. It's got just a really nice feel to it. That's all I know to describe it. It's got a nice feel. And especially if you're working on tracing paper. Tracing paper is really helpful if you're designing tattoos, or if you're designing like, say, a poster design, or if you're doing initial sketching for a big painting or something like that. You can layer, which is really nice. So I could do, say, this flower, and then if I wanted to do like pattern design in the background, then I could do that pattern design on a different layer, and I could just sort of play around with the layers. That's how I used to design tattoos before I got the iPad. And the iPad really upped my tattoo game, especially working in a busy shop. At the time, I was working in a really busy shop, and we had a ton of walk-ins, and it took so much time to use tracing paper for walk-ins. Whereas with iPad, I could just take whatever reference that they gave, when they walked in, and I could toss it in Procreate real quick and do what I needed to do to get their tattoo made quickly and efficiently. So it really helped, and I definitely prefer to draw my tattoos on an iPad. But if you are just starting out, I think that it can hinder you in the long run. So just blanket word of caution there. I know that was really long-winded, but those are my thoughts. So yeah, you can see here too, even while I'm doing the final drawing with I think I use a technical pen. It just comes with the Procreate app. Even with the final drawing, I'm still changing a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm erasing, and I'm going back, and I'm constantly looking at it and tweaking it to get just the right line work, just the right shape for whatever it is that I'm drawing. I've got this video sped up. I don't know if you can tell, it's not sped up a ton. I think it's like twice as fast, but even 9 years in, this drawing still took me probably like 2 or 3 hours to do. It takes a while. Drawing just takes time. It just does. There's no way around it. You might as well enjoy it. And I like to do all of my tattoo drawings on the couch. It's just much more comfy and cozy, and I've tried doing it like at a desk and whatnot, and I just can't get comfortable enough. So I do a lot of painting, like traditional style painting, at a desk or standing up. I'll put the painting on the wall and paint like that. But when it comes to drawing a tattoo, or if I'm designing something, like designing a poster or designing like a layout of some kind, if it's like a story for Instagram, or designing a product, or designing anything really, I like to do it on the couch. It's just way more comfy for me. So that's what we're doing here. And you can see I'm just changing so much as I go. It's hard to describe exactly what I'm doing because, as I said before, it's so intuitive. Right here in this section, it's going to be difficult to explain, but there are rules within tattooing that have to do with line work overlapping each other, and so I change a lot of this stuff just to make the design more open. And as I said before, this is not a how to draw a tattoo video. This is just a here's what I'm doing. Maybe you will like to watch it kind of video. So, alright, I'm going to let the rest of the video go so you can just enjoy it. I hope you've had a lovely time, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the video, and I'll see you at the end. Alright, that's about the end of the video. At this point, I'm just finishing up the shading mock-up. This tattoo was a black and gray tattoo, and I don't always do color mock-ups like this or shading mock-ups. It just kind of depends on the tattoo. With this one, I wanted to make sure that all of my lights and darks were where I wanted them for the overall design. I'm just a visual person, so it's easier to see that if I just do a quick color mock-up. And sometimes I'll do that with a color tattoo as well, but sometimes I just kind of instinctually know how something is going to look because I've tattooed that particular subject so many times. So some of it is a little bit like on autopilot with certain types of designs, but with this one I wanted to make sure things were where I wanted them to be. And I really like how this came out. If you want to see the end result, you can scroll down on my Instagram and find it there. If you want to follow me more, you can follow me on Instagram. You can subscribe here on YouTube, and you can also find me on Patreon. I'll have all of that listed in the description of the video. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you liked the video, and let me know what else you want to see, and I will see you guys another time. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye.